where did you? Anything you want.
Ripple, XRP, gradually cannibalizing Bitcoins, BTC, profitable real-world value. By now everybody even with little knowledge about cryptocurrency knows that Bitcoin, BTC is the supreme leader of virtual currencies in the crypto market. There is no argument that Bitcoin has a tight hold on the emerging virtual currency market, and this is mainly because most crypto exchanges around the world use BTC as their preferred base currency. At present, being listed as the base currency for these exchanges is Bitcoin's greatest utility value, thanks to the emergence of altcoins who have outpaced almost all other Bitcoin attributes. In the current time, most of the altcoins in existence are more efficient, way more usable, and cheaper than Bitcoin, BTC, making them preferable for our day-to-day use. Although fiat pairings are slowly venturing into Bitcoin's space as a base currency, Ripple, XRP is working without tire doing the same but on an exponential pace. As of now, many leading exchanges in the market have come out clear about either their intention of incorporating Ripple, XRP, or are already using it as a base currency. One of such exchanges is one of the significant exchanges in India, Anacoin, who recently announced through their Twitter page that they were going to be incorporating Ripple as their base currency. Another vital exchange that is leaning towards the adoption of Ripple, XRP as their base currency is XEX. XEX recently announced that they were introducing XRP as their base currency with the intention of trading with it against other 15 virtual currencies. Subsequently, SBI Japan, one of the most respected and relevant financial institution in Japan, decided to adopt Ripple, XRP as a base pair currency is a game changer for the fortunes of the digital currency and blockchain technology. SBI Japan has opened up huge investments amounting to billions of dollars of Ripple for trading, promising to have a massive influence on Ripple's price value in future. What makes Ripple different? Ripple stands out from other virtual currencies as it has much and something different to offer. It sells its services to financial institutions and banks, assisting them to transfer cross-border settlements in a faster, cheaper, and secure way than other platforms. Ripple Labs' two services, namely, XRapid and XCurrent, are a game changer in the financial industry. The digital coin used by XRapid is XRP, which distinguishes the company and the cryptocurrency. Many refer to the company and the crypto as Ripple, something that is not correct. XRP is to Ripple what Ethereum is to the Ethereum blockchain. During the inception of Ripple's blockchain, XRP was never intended to be used as a public currency but rather as a settlement token for financial institutions. Ripple versus Bitcoin. Ripple, XRP has undoubtedly gained a lot of respect and ground in the financial industry, getting listed and adopted by many organizations, indicating XRP's potential of becoming a valued commodity in its own right. The market in the last year had seen the increase in the value of Ripple outperform other virtual currencies including Bitcoin. Given the fact that Ripple, XRP is mostly monitored and administered by a central body, it is quite evident that it is more secure than most virtual currencies, especially those that are mined. Cryptocurrency is still a maturing marketplace, and we can expect to witness a lot of changes and innovations in the coming months and years. Ripple and regulations, the survival of the fittest, results expected shortly. As you probably know, governments regulate, sometimes very heavily, all institutions and companies doing business in the financial sector. Seeing how those very companies have sunk the planet in 3 world economic recessions over the last few decades, there are those who argue that such regulations are not substantial enough, or enforced enough. Cryptocurrencies, on the other hand, are not regulated at all for the most part. Some national governments, mainly in Asia, are starting to see the writing on the wall and acting accordingly, but in Europe and the Americas, the cryptosphere remains utterly anarchic. But as accusations of being a security fall on some cryptocurrencies, mainly Ripple, XRP, the proper authorities everywhere, at least in the United States, will have to take a stand. That could or could not prompt, at last, some regulations, but it could also be that the competent authority, the SEC in this case, will limit itself to determine if any given digital asset must be considered to be a security or not. The cryptosphere is, thus, at a crossroads. The SEC authorities have already declared both Bitcoin and Ethereum not to be securities, and they also have given guidelines, not to be confused with actual decisions, about how they think they will assess the financial nature of each crypto coin. In the end, it boils down to this: every cryptocurrency that starts life through an ICO could be considered to be a security, as ICOs promise, at least implicitly, a profit for the participants. Every other coin will not be considered an asset but as something more or less alike to a fiat currency. The good news is that SEC is not very eager to interfere in the crypto world. They are somewhat willing to laissez-faire, at least as long as things don't go out of control, one should assume. The bad news is that Ripple's XRP is still under a lawsuit for allegedly being a security, and it is probably casting a shadow over the whole project and, by extension, over the cryptocurrency markets. Because of the significant momentum Ripple and XRP have been gathering lately, this is a particularly important case, so it behooves us to have a closer look to this situation and try and figure out what we should expect as an outcome. SEC cannot name Ripple's XRP a security. This dish has two main ingredients: what the government can or will do and what Ripple can or will do. Let's start with the government. The first thing we need to be entirely clear about is that no lawsuit can determine the nature of any financial instrument or asset. Or in plain English, only the SEC can decide if something is a security. No judge or court of law has the legal power to make the decision. So our first ingredient is, in fact, quite simple. It all comes down to a choice made by the SEC. The question is, how likely is it to declare Ripple's XRP a security? Not much, probably not at all. The main reason for this is that XRP has never had an ICO. Every single XRP token already exists because it was pre-mined by Ripple Labs before it went live, so it doesn't even require miners the way Bitcoin and others do. Since SEC has already stated that its main standard will be the precedent of an ICO, XRP should be pretty safe. Now for our second ingredient. Ripple can't directly affect SEC's decision, of course. The financial nature of both Ripple Labs and the XRP currency was determined years ago, and it can't change overnight. It doesn't need to change, anyway. But AAA is scrambling and tweaking a few things to ensure that the difference between the company and the coin becomes apparent both for the authorities and the public, so that any possible doubt is clarified easily. Let's review a few of the measures Ripple Labs is taking to achieve that goal. Mr. Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple Labs CEO and former Uber driver, has been explaining extensively at every possible opportunity, interviews, conferences, lectures, etc., that the company and the coin are not identical. In a dramatic statement that he repeats frequently, he explains that if Ripple Labs went away, XRP would still stay around as a viable cryptocurrency because all the infrastructure needed for that is already in place. It's decentralized and is not owned by Ripple Labs in any way. Ripple Labs chief cryptologist, David Schwartz, is not the chief cryptologist anymore. He's now the company's CTO, but we all suspect the actual job he'll keep doing is precisely the same. So why to rename the same position? Well, there's an excellent reason, and it has to do with distancing the company from the token. Almost every big company has a CTO. For instance, even Walmart has a CTO, believe it or not. So this is a standard executive position in the corporate world. Chief cryptologist, on the other hand, is a position that almost no other company in the world has. Even within the software technology industry, have you ever heard about Microsoft's chief cryptologist? Or Google's, Oracle's or Amazon's? The very job title chief cryptologist suggests to close a relationship with XRP. That's why Mr. Schwartz now has a new job. Less than a month ago, Kahina Van Dyke was snatched from Facebook to become Ripple's vice president of business and corporate development. She is a woman who spent decades in Wall Street before becoming Facebook's global financial services team leader. The standard interpretation for this move is that this is a skilled person who already has all the contacts Ripple needs so that more banks and financial institutions adopt the Ripple ledger quickly. And that could very well be the case. But almost nobody has noticed another critical fact. Mrs. Van Dyke, with her extensive experience leading financial development teams and dealing with regulators, could also be the ideal person to advise the company on how to get rid of the security problem once and for all. Maybe the most significant problem Ripple faces will be to prove that XRP is as decentralized as, say, Bitcoin, and that the immense amounts of XRP tokens that Ripple still holds will not give it undue power over the coin's performance. But then again, we go back to the main thing. Ripple has never promised anybody they would make a profit by buying or holding XRP coins, and it never held an ICO. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. This quotation is, falsely, attributed to Charles Darwin, who never once wrote it or said it. Still, it does capture the essence of evolutionary theory and presents a valid idea in a pithy way. It's the survival of the fittest, with fitness understood as adaptability. Make no mistake. Ripple Labs has the Bitcoin and Ethereum precedent on its side, and it fits SEC stated criteria not to be a security. But if that wasn't enough, you have to see that Ripple is, indeed, adapting to survive, and that, alone, will make it prevail. And as things are more evident to every now, including SEC, I believe, the results of the exhausting Ripple SEC battle are just around the corner of finding a seat.